Good morning.
Morning.
Say it again. Good morning. Evening. No. It's morning. And here's why I say morning. Because every time I see beautiful faces like you all, it feels like a new day to me.
That was good.
So good morning. My name is Marcus Fields. I'm a student at the great University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I'm a junior majoring in math education, and I'm just excited, one of those two, to be here in front of you all, emceeing tonight. So thank you all for this opportunity. Before we get started with our scheduled program, we're going to have a opening performance by our great Miss Brittany McFadden. So give it up as she comes. right along. Let me ask you this: who knows for a fact that they're the oldest graduate here? Anybody want to start yelling out the years of when they graduated? I have a gift for the oldest graduate. 45. 45. Anybody be 45? 45, 45, 45. Ma'am? 88. 88. 08?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, that's your graduate year. 49. You said
45.
45. Anybody older than 45, they cross the stage with a degree. 45. Well, congratulations, ma'am. Give it up for her. And if you see me after the program, I have a couple napkins for you, okay? But next up, we are going to have the welcome by a man. He's my co-laborer in leadership at the university. He's a great guy. I look up to him. He looks down at me. So give it up for Frank Dorsey as he comes and does the welcome.
I only look down to you because you're short. All right. Thank you for thinking of me and then wondering how could you help. Thank you for doing what you did instead of being too busy and forgetting about it. Thank you for inking me on the priority to do this when you have so many other things to do. I am honored. It meant a lot to me. Thank you. Greetings and good evening. I am Frank D. Dorsey II, a native of Memphis, Tennessee, by way of West Memphis, Arkansas, a rehabilitation services major of the class of 2013, and a proud member of the Circle of Pride, the student-led philanthropy group on campus. With this being said, I welcome you to the 2011 Annual Donors Appreciation Banquet. Yes, an evening to show our gratitude to outstanding individuals who ensure that every student's experience at the university is truly golden. Once again, I thank you and I wish you enjoy a wonderful evening. Thanks.
Next, we'll have a vocal selection by a great jazz ensemble. Am I reading this right? And Miss Brittany McFadden, I'm sorry. You know how you don't know who you're really staying next to till you get out in public. These young men in I can't stand the girls' dorm room, but these young men I stay next to, underneath, above, all through my 3 years, and I didn't know what great talents they possessed until we left the dorm room and I saw them in places like this. So I want to give you guys a great hand. And, sometimes they were even my alarm. I appreciate that too, practicing in the dorm room. But it's all right. We're going to moving on. We have this great lady. She's a part of Circle of Pride. I see her with a lot of pride walking through classes. She's always smiling, even when it's raining. I didn't understand that. But she's always smiling, so give it up for Raven Handley as she comes up.
Would everyone please bow your head and close your eyes for a word of prayer? Eternal God, our Father, we humbly bow before you with thanksgiving in our hearts. We thank you for this university, administration, faculty, staff, and student body. We pray your blessings among our homecoming activities. We graciously ask you to bless these gracious donors who have gathered here for this meal. We thank you for this food we're about to receive. Please bless the hands that prepared it. Let it be nourishment to our bodies. Let this food be to our bodies what your spirit is to our soul. In the precious name of Jesus Christ I pray. Amen.
Amen. It's good to have the hands of the Lord on your food. And so we will proceed on dinner and then pick back up with our program. Thank you. Great. We're going to continue with our marvelous program. Next up, we're going to have something titled Your Investments Personified. And this is where we're going to have 3 students come up and testify on how your donations have helped them continue their education at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And we have 3 awesome students on campus lined up for you guys. We have Terrell Sharp, followed by Alexis Cole, and then Brittany Henry. So give it up as Mr. Sharp comes up, and Alexis Cole and Brittany Henry. Thank you.
Good evening. As he said, my name is Terrell Sharp from Dallas, Texas. I'm a senior at the university, majoring in human sciences, specializing in human development and family studies. First off, I would like to say thank you for being here, and thank you for your donations and devotion to the university. Recently, this spring, I was informed that I had a balance of $1,600. Throughout the entire spring semester and the summer, I was working hard, trying to find money, calling home, asking any and everybody that could help to help me out. And at the beginning of this fall semester, I was only $500 short. And I was in my room. I was crying. I was devastated because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get back in school. I was like, I'd have made it this far. I was just down. Then the Lord put it on my heart to come to the development office and ask Dr. Hall and her staff if they would be able to assist me. I think it was that Monday morning. Got up 7:30 to be exact. Got up 7:30, made it to the office at 8:03. I won't forget it. Spoke with Ms. Libra. She talked to Dr. Hall, and she said, Terrell, we're gonna help you out. She said, give me a few days, and we'll see what we can do. So I'm praying. I think I even fasted a day or two. Yes. Ended up fasting Thursday afternoon. I got a call. They said that they found some funds and they will be able to assist me get back in school. Just ecstatic. I actually broke down in tears when I got the call because I was excited.
All right.
I can honestly say that I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you all. Although that thank you is not enough, that's all I have. So from the bottom of my heart, I would like to say thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alexis Cole. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. My major is business marketing, and I'm a sophomore at the university. And I just want to tell everyone thank you so much for just helping us and just delivering whatever you could to us. And I also want to thank Ms. Libra, Ms. Todd, Ms. Hall, Ms. Monique. Any person that comes through their doors, they always help. No matter what, they didn't know me from Jack and Jill went up the hill, and they just came to me and they was like, "We can help you. You kept your bargain. You had good grades, so we just want to help you." And I'm just thanking God right now because my mom has 3 kids. One's in the pre-med program at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. My oldest sister, she's getting her master's in May. And then there's me. So I just want to tell everybody thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I just want to play a little serenade for all of you. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brittany Henry, and I am a graduating senior from Dallas, Texas, majoring in human sciences with an emphasis in human development and family studies. And I see all my fellow graduating seniors. And I would like to start off by thanking all of you for all your generous donations and contributions to my education here at the university. And thanks to you, I have received the academic tuition scholarship for the whole time I've been here at the university. So I was happy about that. And I've received numerous of other scholarships. And I'd like to thank Dr. Hall and all the faculty and staff at the development office, as well as Dr. Blakely, my mentor, for helping me through my 3.5 years at the university. And I look forward to giving back to the university just as well as you all have given back to me. Thank you.
Can you give all 3 of those students another round of applause? When I said they were great students, I did mean that, and you guys witnessed that firsthand. Your donations are being planted and being grown into some great students, and I do appreciate you all for doing that and keeping them on our campus. And so thank you all. And I guess because of your donations and being here, I realize how deep the roots of our university are. You guys love the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, formerly known as AM&N and Branch Normal, so much. And when I first stepped on campus, I wasn't educated on the history of this university. I just thought it was another school in the state of Arkansas. And when you hear the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, sometimes you don't hear much positive. But sometimes it takes going down there to realize how great things are. And others may not know. And they may not ever know, but I am a living witness that there's something special about the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. It really is. So because of your donation and your presence during this great homecoming week, I am now one of those that is in love with this Golden Line family. And I appreciate you all so much. And the next man that we're having to come speak, I think he can say that twice over and even two times more, because he is the heart of what drives our university into the future. So give it up for Dr. Lawrence A. Davis, Sr. Jr.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much. You see, we have some wonderful students, a great MC, and our students gave testimony, so I don't have to tell you why it's important that you continue to support what we do, but I assure you that Dr. Martin Hall and her staff, they try to maximize every penny that we can rake and scrape. And sometimes she'll tell me, I say, you need to help this student. She said, well, now, you know, I'm holding some here for some other things you have to do, and I'm not going to turn it loose unless you tell me to. And normally I said, well, go ahead and spend it. We'll get some more from somewhere else. But anyway, you know, it is customary for us to have a theme for homecoming. It helps people build the floats and so forth. And we have a homecoming committee, and they generally propose 3 or 4 different themes for the homecoming. And then I read them very carefully, and then I adjust them to fit what I think we need to be concerned about. This year, our theme is Pride in the Pride, and I'm not going to say a lot about that tonight because we're going to deal with that tomorrow in assembly. But we talked to you about a sense of urgency. And thankfully, some of you did respond, as those of you that are here, we appreciate it sincerely. But when I sent out that theme, there were some people that said, you're going to frighten the faculty. I said, that's what I intend to do. Because it is a sense of urgency, meaning that we don't have time to procrastinate. And it's so bad, Dr. Benjamin, until, you know, I passed English, I did all right. I'm not smart like my friend Dr. Blakely. And I know how you have to have agreement of subject and verb. And so you understand that when I say what I'm saying, I know what I'm saying. So you say, you know, we got to do something. That's not strong enough. Something's got to be did. Something's got to be did. But anyway, and the reason that I was setting forth this sense of urgency because as you keep up with the news, and I watch religiously the channels with the Congress and everybody else, and you hear what the legislators are saying, you know that there is something that you're going to have to deal with. You know, now it's unfortunate that sometimes when you tell people, they don't listen. They didn't listen to Noah, did they? But that didn't keep the flood from coming. That's right. So I was trying to tell people we have something coming that's aimed at us, the Arkansas legislators. We haven't had an increase in appropriation for what, 2 or 3 sessions. They said we got all the money that we really are entitled to. And what is worse than that, we are working on now productivity standards that all of the universities and colleges worked on the heads with the finance people and everybody, that says that we have productivity standards dealing with graduation, retention, and so forth. And if you don't meet those productivity guidelines, we're going to take some money from you. We're going to take the money up front. The first cut of ours will be $1 million something. And they'll continue that process until you may have lost 25% of your current appropriation. That's serious, okay? Because if you have productivity measures that you can't meet, and then I take the resources, then how are you going to recover? But that is written into legislation. Then on top of that, they have decided that we don't know what we're doing. They want all of the college courses, majors, to only have to have 120 hours. Now, keep in mind that maybe 120 hours was appropriate 30 years ago, but think how knowledge has grown. So now we're going to have to take the current curriculum and reduce it to 120 hours. Second thing is they don't want us to increase tuition. Kids can't afford to pay what they're paying now. Well, we understand that, but when you don't get appropriation from the state, then where are you going to get any more money? Next thing is, we have just reports after reports after reports. How many people are making over 100,000? How many make it over 20? How many have been there 15 years? We spend an inordinate amount of time filing reports. And at my age, I can say what I want to say so they can get per diem in those interim committees. They'll have something to do. Now, the other thing is, part of our mission is to provide opportunities for those socioeconomically challenged, going back to branch normal. Well, all of a sudden, and remember, we didn't have any tests before integration. Keep that in mind. I didn't know anything about ACT tests and all that. We had some tests, but they weren't designed to deny. They were designed to evaluate. So now they say, well, if a student can't make a certain score on the ACT test, they don't belong in college. Well, I know a whole lot of people that if that had been in place when they were trying to go to college, they never would be where they are now. Because I don't know of any examination that can evaluate a person who's 17 years old and tell what their potential is. And a lot of people don't understand of the 3 branches of Bloom's taxonomy, the rote part is just part of it. You know, some people are very good learning with their hands, some people are very good attitude-wise, some people are good at learning rote. And I know that because when I was in grade school, and we had to learn certain things, Dr. Bateman, I had to learn the Gettysburg Address, and the Creation by James Weldon Johnson, and I had classmates, I can't learn that, but you know, just they get on the playground, and for 15 minutes, shine, shine, save on me, and shine, save on land, here, those things. So it wasn't a matter of they couldn't learn it, it was a matter they didn't want to. And that has a lot to do with it. Now, so that has caused us to have to reevaluate who we give an opportunity to. I honestly believe that you ought to give everybody a chance. And you know it's something wrong with the educational system, Dr. Hobbs, when 94% or 96% of a certain group of people don't make the cutoff score. And all of them happen to have a color looking like mine. There's something wrong with that. Yeah. And then you're going to tell them they can't go to college. And you don't want to pay for them to go to college, but we're building all the prisons in the world. And we have to pay somebody to watch people eat and sleep. But yet, the amount that it costs for a prisoner to be incarcerated for years, what it costs a student to go to UAPB for 4 years. It doesn't make any sense. All right? And that's the reason I was talking about the sense of urgency. Then we came up with a brilliant idea. Most of our students who don't make it, who really want to make it, it's because of finance. You heard what these young people said. And you see, when Daddy was there, and I've heard those stories over and over again, I wonder why some of these people who feel like that don't give more than they give, some of them that I know about. But they say, practically, if you got to the campus, you never had to leave. But Daddy was in a different era. He was a president. He had his own board. He could tell who was going to be on the board, who wasn't going to be on the board. He could say if we beat Southern, he could say school was out. I can't do that. I'm in a system. And so we have all those orders. Ms. Thomas will tell you, you know, right now we had a report, our accounts receivable for students as of today was $7 million. And they're going to call me back on the carpet. How you letting these people go to school? They're not paying. Well, how can you get them to pay up front? You know, well, in Daddy's day, Dad said, let them go on register, and when Daddy make the crop, they send the money. Well, these kids don't have parents that are making crops. There's no money to be sent. And we have to assume that they might be able to pay. But if they don't, then that's account receivable. And I have right now, today, a list of 60 students with over $6,000, and we've written them a letter saying that either you're going to have to pay us, or make arrangements to pay us, or we're going to have to let you go. And that's unfortunate. See, we probably have let the people go that have the solution to some of these diseases that we have, because they didn't get a chance. Think about Samuel Coombs. What if he hadn't been allowed to go? And then we came up with a brilliant idea, how we're going to help the student. And you know, a lot of people, they have a problem with gambling, right? But they buy life insurance, they buy stock, and I have a problem understanding what the difference is. Because when you buy insurance, an automobile, do you know what you're saying? I'm betting that I'm going to have an accident. And the insurance comes and says, I'm betting you not. And they're knowing that if they have a lot of you, most of you ain't going to have no wreck. So they always make a profit. So what's the difference going down there and buying a ticket and hope that you win $1 million? You got one chance in 50 million, but if you don't buy a ticket, you have no chance in 50 million. So when they came up with the idea of the lottery, I thought it was a great idea. I said, this is a way we can help some of these kids. Well, guess what? They wrote the law, and the law says, Dr. Fitmar, scholarships and grants. Then they set the criteria for the scholarship as same as the ones that we have for academic achievers. And then they gave no grants. And then when we wrote and asked them about it, they never answered. And I don't know why our legislators are not pushing them to make some of those grants. Because, you know, the world is run by C students. A students are in the lab. All right? So it really didn't help us. It helped some schools that already didn't need help. We got 158 students, and other schools had as many as 2,000 that had lottery scholarship. That's not right. And somebody asked me when I was testifying before the legislature, how come you haven't been saying something before? I've been saying something all the time. You just weren't listening. And you see, a lot of time people hear you, they do not listen, Jeff. And I always give this example. Do you hear something that's hit a place clicking? Listen. Every now and then somebody click, hear that? And they'll be doing that while I'm talking, but you will never hear it because you aren't listening. There's a difference. You have to listen, not just hear. You've got to listen. Now, the next category, and I'm not going to keep you long. Then you got to watch what Congress is doing. I have difficulty making a difference between what they told my daddy and what they're saying to me. Now, Daddy told me, and I don't think Daddy would lie about this, he said, he went to the legislature, Staples, they say, Lawrence, you educate one of these ends, you just messed up a good cotton chopper. You believe they would have said that then? Yeah. What they say now is, these kids who can't make these scores don't belong in college. I'm wondering, what is the real difference here? Because you see, remediation isn't about just learning to read and write. It's about changing the lifestyle, about changing attitudes, about helping people learn which fork to use, about building confidence, which will enable you to persevere even though you don't have everything you need. And then here they are. We got to do something about these entitlements. Do you understand we're an entitlement institution? Well, HBCU, Historical Black College University, land grant. We get Title III money because that's entitlement money. We get the money based on the projects we wish to complete, based on the enrollment and our success. That's what Dr. Monhall does. They get all of the ideas from the faculty, and we compile them, and then we set priorities, and then we decide what it is that we want to do. That's where we're going to be able to build the STEM village, because we made it a priority. That's how we renovated the library. That's how we had the top technology in the world on our campus. That's how we were able to hook up to our own. That's how we renovated the Fine Arts Building. That's how we did the archives. Most of what you see on that campus is a result of us having used Title III monies to address the physical needs. That's the reason we have a television station that's on cable 24 that broadcasts 24/7, a radio station 89.7 FM that broadcasts 24/7. You can get it on the internet because of what? Title III. Entitlement. Land grant. That's the reason we're moving toward the doctorate in aquaculture, because we had money on the land grant to do things. So when these people are up talking about, we got to do something about entitlements, they're talking about us. They're not just talking about Social Security. And you got to understand that. Now, I'm saying this to you so that you can understand that you need to start getting active, contacting the legislators, contacting your congressman, and doing something, because something, people, has got to be did.
That was a good word from our chancellor. I don't know if I should be able to stand up after him, but I'll try. You know, someone told me, one of the faculty members was saying how, compared to back then and now, that Chancellor Davis is being more realistic and direct to what's going on, and how he understands what could happen if we just let things go on without us speaking up. And we don't want that, because we understand that due to the fact that we are considered lesser sometimes because of our skin color, we can get misused and mistreated sometimes if we don't speak up, and not just speak up by ourselves, but speak up together and stand up and help the world understand that we're not going to go for this, and in order for us to survive, we need this, and you're going to have to give it to us. And sometimes as students, we conversate about things that Chancellor's saying about the legislation and things like that, and it kind of hurts us and it scares us, because we understand that our university could be something totally different tomorrow. We never know. And so I'd ask you guys to do listen to the words that he's just spoke, and please go and act on it. That way that we can ensure that my younger brother and sister could come to this university when they are of age and experience the things that I've experienced and that you all have experienced, and be able to receive an education with no boundaries, with nothing holding them back. So would you all please listen and urgently go forth and do what needs to be done to continue the success of our great university. Amen? Amen. Continue, we're going to have announcement of the 2011-2012 campaign by Mr. Larry Cooper. Give him a hand as he comes.
How are we doing this evening? Good. You know, fine. Who said fine? There you go. You know, as I was listening to Alexis play a saxophone, and I was watching all the moves and things that she was making, and I could see how she was really, really getting into the music. And by the way, Alexis, fantastic job. Fantastic job. And I was thinking, because I used to play a saxophone when I was in high school, well, actually elementary and high school, and as I was listening to her play, I was thinking, when she sits back down here, I'm going to challenge her, because I want her to know that I could do just as good as she's doing, if not better. And I was just going to ask her, you know, if I could use a saxophone to demonstrate that I'm not sitting up here just talking. So would y'all like to hear me doing this? Would you? Can I get a standing ovation? No. Okay, I'll save you that. I'll save you that. Won't do that. But tonight, you know, we are here because every year we have this banquet to honor individuals that have given to the university over the past year. And I was sitting down just kind of looking across the room, and one thing I did observe is that, and I've been probably chairman of the board. How long have I been chairman, Margaret? Long time, a long time. And coming to this banquet, I see some faces that I will probably say, I think I've seen them here every year that I've gotten up here to give recognitions for contributions. And what I want to say to those individuals, and I don't want to start calling names because I'll miss individuals, but I want to say to you those that I've seen over the years come here every year, and as you are honored for your contribution, to give a special thank you for what you have done over the years, and that you continue to do it year in and year out. And I know, just based upon the demographic of what I see, most of the individuals like me probably not working anymore, and they're probably on fixed incomes. But in spite of that, they continue to give, and as a result, we every year in and year out, we really, even over the last 3 years, if you look at what our contribution has been, it's probably been relatively flat. But flat is good in the current environment. It really is. In the current environment, being flat is good, because in most other arenas, the numbers are going down. You know, companies are having losses and the economy is going down, and so for us to give over a level that at least sustains us and allow individuals like Lexus and some of the other individuals that we've heard tonight I give accolades to you. I really do. I want to thank you very much. Now, our challenge is, though, is to get other folks in the fold. And that really is our biggest challenge, to get other folks, especially graduates of UAPB. Because I think that if I had to ask people that graduated from A&M to stand up in the room, and then I've asked people that graduated from UAPB, there would be a great disparity. And we have got to begin equalizing that disparity if we're going to continue to be successful and be able to do and give as we have seen tonight. This past year, our contribution was about $800,000. We're going to set a goal this year. If we can get another $800,000 for next year, we're going to be doing good. And that's going to be our challenge to do that. Now, I've got some board members in the room. By the way, I want to have some of the board members stand up. How many? I know, see Dr. Blakely. Are there other board members in the room? There's Calvin Booker. Is that it? We also have a special board member. She's no longer on the board, but Dr. Fidmont. So happy to see you. It's been a while since I've seen you. It's always good to see you. And she has really been our what I call five-star board member over the years, and has really done a lot for this institution, and I really appreciate her. So with that, I'm going to say that we want to continue to give. The board, basically what we've done for the next year, probably the next 2 or 3 years, is we've not restructured, but we have reprioritized what we're going to try to accomplish. And the two things that we're going to put our focus and energy on is the STEM project that Dr. Davis talked about earlier, and the other one is the Lifeline Scholarship, which Dr. Hall is able to accomplish. As a young man said, I had no money, I had nowhere to go, and so I went to Dr. Hall, and somehow, some way, they found money. Our Lifeline Scholarship Fund allows us to do things like that. And the other thing I'm going to say is, and I'll sit down, is that I used to live in Dallas about 10 years, and I know I've seen some of the members of the Dallas Alumni Chapter. I know you have to feel proud when you have individuals that come up here and say, I'm from Dallas, Texas, and blah, 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 and how that alumni chapter in Dallas has really, really done an outstanding job in terms of sending students to this university. And I really think that they are the model. They really are. They are the model in terms of directing not only financial but students to this institution. Real quickly, some of you have heard this story before, but I'll say this and I'll close. I would not have been here, and I would not graduate from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, or at that time A&M, had it not been for the local Las Vegas Alumni Chapter, because they gave me a scholarship, and Tony Wright. There were two of us who were the first recipient of a scholarship, came down here to UAPB, and I'll never forget it. We came down here, and the guy that what I always said, my mentor, Mr. Gay, some people call him Smiley, some people call him Spot Gay. He was president of the chapter. He gave us a scholarship, and he says, you guys go down there, and when you go there, go see Prexy, because Prexy is going to give you a job. All we're going to do is give you a tuition scholarship. You had to pay for the out-of-state fee at that time, which was $100. But we're going to give you a tuition scholarship, and then we go see Prexy, and Prexy is going to give you the job. And I'll never forget, went to see Dr. Davis. Secretary was over to see Mr. Barnett. All right, we go in his office, sit down, we walk in there, and we said, my name is Larry Cooper, this is Tony Wright. And Mr. Gate told us to come see you. I mean, Mr. Practice Secretary told us to come see you. And we get a job. He said, where you from? I said, we're from Las Vegas. Las Vegas? We don't have no scholarship for folks in Arkansas. We don't get no scholarship to folks from out of town. So, we put our tails between and walked on out of the room. And then we called Mr. Gay. Mr. Gay called Prexy. 2 days later, we go back over there, and Mr. Barnett says, you working here and you working here. So that goes back to that old saying we said, Mr. Gay got us here, but Prexy kept us here. And from that, the rest is history. 33 years with AT&T, retired, living a good life. It's all because I came through this institution. And it's all because of people like you that made that happen. So we ask you to continue to do that. And with that, good evening.
Well, next up we have a special recognition from an elegant lady. I don't know her that well, but when I visit the Title III office, I know when she's there because her presence is felt. She reminds me of a movie star, oftentimes. I need a scholarship. And movie star. She's a movie star. But without further ado, give it up for Dr. Margaret Martin Hall.
Okay, Libra and Monique, please keep in mind full paid scholarship until he graduates. We'll find the money from someplace. There's been a lot of thank you from the front to the back, but what I would like for each of you to do now is to turn to the person on your right and on your left and say thank you for giving, because not one person made a difference, all of you made a difference. I often tell graduating seniors that we don't want them to wait until they get that $500 a month to give, but to start by giving $10 a month. And if we have 300 individuals graduating, and each of those individuals will give us $10 a month, you do the math, and then if you can't, ask Dr. Hartfield. But it will add up, and it will mean a lot to the students in dire need. These students that you heard this evening are representative of dozens, even hundreds of students. And this year, we did not turn as many students away as we normally do, but we did have to turn some students away because we just did not have the money to help everyone who came through the door. And I want to pause. A lot of thanks was given to the Development Office and to Chancellor Davis, but without the National Alumni Association's gift this year, there are 30 students, maybe 40 students that we would not have been able to help. But Mr. Booker called Chancellor Davis, and he called me and he says, I'm going to send money over there to help students in dire need. And give it to them, just let them have it. Well, I've been in the Development Office since 1998, and sometimes promises aren't kept. So I'm a little, I just don't award money without having it in hand. But Chancellor Davis said, he's good for it, you start awarding that money. So all of the people that we had said maybe, and we had turned away and said, we'll get back with you, we called them and we said, come. And by the time they came, we had the check from the National Alumni Association. Thank you, Mr. Booker, and thank all of you who may serve on the board. Now, we're coming to the close of the evening. Our tummies are full. We've been serenaded, and so we're probably ready for bed. But this is a very important part because we cannot say thank you enough. The art and science of fundraising says if we do not say thank you at least 7 times, we haven't said thank you enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we've gotten that out of the way. But if you would turn, please, to page 32, I would like to thank the development team, Libra Rulak. Many of you speak to Libra on the phone. Libra, will you please stand so they may see who you are? But Libra is sitting at the back. Oftentimes when you cannot reach me, Libra is the individual that you speak with. Her very capable assistant and just nipping at her heels, so Libra may, once she's promoted, we have someone trained to take her place, Monique Benford. Monique, will you please stand? See? And you've seen Courtney. Courtney has been kind of all over the room tonight. Courtney is in charge of special projects, so anytime there's something out of the mainstream happening in the development office, Courtney is a part of making it happen. And then Renisha Totten is a student clerk. Kristen Nelson graduated, and she is working part-time as a real employee in the development office. She was with us about 4 years as a student clerk. And though Brian is not employed in the development office, he is employed in Title III. I've received some very positive feedback about our program and our invitation. For the last 5, 6 years, Brian has been the designer of those. So please say thank you to Brian. Moving forward to the front of the page, the Circle of Pride is a student philanthropy group. And if there are members of the Circle of Pride, will you please stand? These are individuals who have a little more in the way of financial means than other students, and they make donations and help to raise money to help their fellow classmates. Isn't that commendable? They're already following your example and learning to give. And then we have the sponsors for the Chancellor's Benefit for the Arts, and I do want to mention that the 25th Annual Chancellor's Benefit for the Arts will be held in February. Please visit the website often and get the latest update. It's supposed to be a spectacular gala, but it won't be if you're not there. And then our corporate matching gift program. Many of you are employed by corporations who will match whatever gift you give. If some of you are not taking advantage of that program, please do. What it does, it doubles the impact of your gift. And we've mentioned scholarships and support to students. Please give special attention to page 28. As a new feature in the donors report, we want to highlight scholarships that were recently established. This is by no means a finite list of scholarships. It simply directs your attention to the scholarships that were initiated within the last year. The Alpha Rho Education Award. So if we have people who are part of that group, will you please stand? The Bank of America Book Scholarship. Do we have a representative of Bank of America? The Delta Sigma Theta Scholarship. Do we have representatives of Delta Sigma Theta? Thank you very much. The Irma Jean Bien Ami Scholarship. And I will recognize at the same time the John Edgar Washington Memorial Scholarship. Dr. Washington and Dr. Campbell, will you please stand? I want to give recognition to them because they are not graduates of UAPB. But Dr. Washington told me the most interesting story of how she became a physician. And it is as a result of someone giving when she was in the greatest need. And she said she wanted to help students at UAPB who were worthy and in need. One scholarship is named in honor of her mother and the other in honor of her father. And one scholarship is especially important to UAPB because we often have students who deserve and need to travel to professional or career building conferences, meetings, seminars. And their funds are limited. Maybe they have enough scholarships and mom and dad can get enough to get them through college, but those experiences are very, very important to a full, well-rounded education. Dr. Washington's scholarship, one of her scholarships, allows students to travel abroad and/or attend career building seminars, meeting conferences. If others of you would like to do something similar, we can talk later. And then there's the Hazel Ernestine Rowell Collins Scholarship. Is a member of that family present? The Joyce Lewis Lake and John Crenshaw Book Award. The Dr. Sadie A. Harding you stood, but I'm not sure you were properly recognized. Joyce Lewis Lake and John Crenshaw Book Award. Book awards are very, very critical. The young people who are performing this evening, we can't afford to pay them, but we try to give them, say, a book award or a book scholarship. And I mentioned that, well, we'll give each of them $75. Realistically, that may or may not buy a book. Some books at UAPB cost over $200. So when someone decides, I'm going to set aside a book award, it is the difference between having what they need to go to class and maybe not going to class because they don't have what they need. So thank you. And then we have the Dr. Sadie A. and Harding B. Young Family Scholarship. I know they're in the room. I saw them earlier. Dr. Sadie Young is the widow of Dr. Harding Young, for whom our business building is named, Henderson Young. There will be an unveiling tomorrow at that building immediately after the alumni assembly, probably around 12 or 12:30. Please go and salute a truly great man and a wonderful family. And that's in the Henderson Young Business Building on the campus of UAPB. Mr. Cooper mentioned the Lifeline Endowed Fund. The names are listed here, but if you are present in the room, will you please stand? This is the special fund that has been set aside for students in dire need. Gifts to this fund are matched dollar for dollar through a grant from the federal government. So it's an excellent opportunity to double the impact of your gift. General scholarship funds, if we have donors who have contributed to that fund, please stand. And then Chancellor Davis referred to a pool of funds that I tell him I'm holding, and if I need his permission to spend. Those are the unrestricted dollars. With those dollars, we can do a variety of things. We can help students in dire need. We can award scholarships to academically advanced students. We can buy critical learning supplies, book scholarships. But that pool of funds is usually very small in comparison to some other funds, so we spend it very, very discreetly. And then there are those of you who know that one day, as you pass from the earthly scene, you will no longer be able to give to UAPB. But you make provisions in your will or your family planning or your personal plan to make provisions for UAPB to give after you're no longer present to give. Those individuals are part of the Hicks Holiday Legacy Society. Will you please stand? Okay. And then in-kind contributions, we welcome those as well. So if we have individuals representative of the business listed under in-kind contributions, will you please stand at this time? And then the next group of individuals, we salute, though they are not present with us this evening. And this is the list of contributors starting on page 18. Individuals invited to this function are at the giving level of $250 or more. But remember when I said $10 a month by enough people can do some very significant things? These people, though their gifts were not great enough to be invited to this banquet, made a very, very significant impact on the students at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and we do not want them to be forgotten. The Heritage Club, if you are a member of the Heritage Club, will you please stand? The Challenge Club, will all members of the Challenge Club please stand? Thank you. Dr. Abedi gives year after year after year. Thank you, Dr. Abedi and Mrs. Abedi. We very much appreciate it. The Achievement Club. Thank you. Honors Club. Leadership Club, Dean's Club, Prestige Club, Chancellor's Club, and our major gift donors of $10,000 or more, major gift donors. We very much appreciate each of you and what you do to help thousands of students at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And we have some mementos of appreciation. If you would bring the tall bags forward, please. Is Mr. or Mrs. Charles Ziegler present? Mr. Ziegler. Thank you. Dr. Charles Nam or Mrs. Janetta Nams. Mrs. Martha Meekins. Dr. Martha Flowers. Mr. Larry Cooper. Photo op. Dr. Carl and Catherine Bracey, Dr. Mary Benjamin, Mr. Markel Bridges, Mr. David Brown, Mr. Rodney and Dr. Thalia Fort, Mr. Larry and Carolyn Greer, Miss Betty Love, Mr. Jesse Mason and Gail Reed Jones, MD, Dr. Dorothy Fitmont, Dr. Freddie Hartfield, Dr. Freddie Hartfield, Chancellor Mrs. Davis.
Thank you.
Dr. Irma Washington and Dr. James Campbell.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We have a special recognition. Each year, the donors report is dedicated to someone who has made a significant impact on giving at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Last year, Dr. Irma Washington and Dr. James Campbell, who are with us this evening but were unable to be with us last year, were the individuals whose names were among the names that the book was dedicated to. This year, the book is dedicated to Mr. Larry Cooper. Mr. Cooper and I sort of began the fundraising thing together. In 1998, when he was joining the board, I was coming into the development office under the tutelage of Pat Jackson because she was going to transition to Washington, D.C. At that time, though we had tried, and when I say we, I mean a collective we at UAPB and the Foundation Fund Board, had tried very, very hard to reach that $1 million mark. Under the leadership of Mr. Cooper, we not only reached it, we exceeded it, and we got really, really close to 2 million that we could almost shake hands. So I credit that to Mr. Cooper. He restructured the board, provided outstanding leadership, was very, very inspiring, put some very key people in some very key positions on the board, and then gave them the support they needed to succeed. And for that, Mr. Cooper, we have a special gift for you. Enjoy. And the next person, and we have one more special recognition. In 1999, when I was still very new to the development office, the opportunity was presented by the individual who was then in charge of Title III to do a fundraiser that would result in matching funds. So if we raised the funds, the federal government would match them dollar for dollar. Well, the first thing that came to my mind was the Alumni Scholarship Endowment Fund. I mean, they're already set up, let's let them do it. But after consulting with Mr. Kirkendall, it was decided that maybe it just wasn't the time for the Alumni Scholarship Endowment. So it never left my mind and heart, but I put it to bed. And then this wonderful lady approached me with an idea that is now known as the Dorothy Majette Fidmont New Millennium Leaders. About 4 or 5 years ago, and I know this is hard for her because she doesn't like, all of the spotlight, but if I had a spotlight, I'd shine it right on her. We named the New Millennium Leader Fund in honor of Dr. Fidmont and all of the hard work. Her vision back then was to get that fund to $1 million. Tonight, Dr. Fidmont, we salute you because with federal matching funds, the Dorothy Majette Fidmont Leaders is now well over $1 million. And lest you forget that you were the person who made it happen, we had designed for you your very own stationery that says DFM Founder Dorothy Majette Fidmont New Millennium Leader. So when you get a card written on this stationery, please know that you are very special. Please do.
I just asked Margaret if I could say one thing. And here's what I want to say is that so many people sell us short. And sometimes we accept that. And I can recall when we first thought about asking 200 people to give us $200 in the first year of the millennium. And if we got $400,000, we'd ask someone to give us $100,000 to get $500,000, and then we'd find some person to match it, and everybody said that won't happen, and I believe that won't happen. But you see, you only have to believe, and it happens. Thank you.
I do want to recognize other individuals who are with us this evening, and I'll be very quick. We mentioned the Foundation Fund Board members. Mr. Booker is here, and Mr. Cooper, and Dr. Fidmont, I think you would have to say is emeritus. Dr. Blakely, who left as an employee representative to just a full-fledged, hard-working fundraiser on our behalf. Do we have any elected officials in the audience? Okay. Our Dorothy Majette Fidmont New Millennium leaders, will you please stand? These are the people who helped to make this initiative successful. And I think earlier we recognized the Legacy Club. See, I've got to make sure I recognize everyone. Our First Lady, Mrs. Ethel Davis. Two of the people on Chancellor Davis' executive cabinet who helps him in making all those really hard decisions are in the room. Will the two of you please stand? Okay, continue standing for just a minute. Now, Dr. Benjamin is here. We've been talking about the STEM building. We are making progress. We have an architect. We have about $4 million. The building is going to cost $6 million. We talked to the architects recently, and they said, well, we can manage to give you the kind of building you have for the money you have. But now it's not going to be a premier building. Dr. Benjamin said, no, we want a premier building. You give us a premier building, and we'll take it from there. So please, if you have stocks, bonds, you need an investment, long-term, please talk to Dr. Benjamin about the STEM building. And then Mrs. Thomas, will you please stand? Now, Mrs. Thomas, everybody at UAPB truly understands what a great job Mrs. Thomas does on the 15th of the month and the last day of the month. And we know that she's doing a fantastic job. And then there are other individuals at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff who make things happen for our students. Will all employees of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff please stand? Now, I hope you'll remember those faces, because when you want to know about some very specific things happening in very specific areas, these are the people to ask. Because when you call and ask me, I pick up the phone and I call and ask them. So you can cut me out as the middleman and go directly to them. You're a wonderful group, and I look forward to seeing you next year.
Movie star wants to speak again. Hold on just a second.
2 scholarships for that guy. But I wanted to just show you what's in the bag in case you were wondering. These are mugs that were crafted by someone who attended the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and the story is inside the mug. Many of you saw her on, I think it was Diane Sawyer. There was a special on national TV about this lady. Please, this isn't just something to drink your coffee or hot cocoa. This is art. Display it proudly. If you go in the Peabody Hotel, you'll see it there. Throughout the country, you will be seeing pieces from the mud mill. And some of you tonight have a piece of history, you have a piece of art.
We have any more food coming out? No? Okay. Well, it was an honor being able to MC you guys. I thank the people who selected me. I've learned more by just sitting in this room of the importance of giving back, and we truly thank you guys.